When you think about the biggest moments in history, you probably picture generals, big maps, and grand strategies. But the story of Dunkirk? Well, it completely turns that idea on its head. This isn't just about a military operation. It's an absolutely incredible story about the human spirit.
Okay, let's set the scene. The year is 1940. It's May. Europe is on fire with war, and for the Allied forces on the continent, things have gotten about as bad as they can possibly get. So picture this. On the beaches of a small town in France called Dunkirk, an entire army is basically stranded. We're talking hundreds of thousands of British, French, and Belgian soldiers all pushed back to the very edge of the sea with their backs to the English Channel. And all the while, the enemy is just relentless. The German army is tightening the noose, closing in from every side. For those soldiers on the beach, there's literally nowhere else to go. The space they have is shrinking by the hour.
And if being trapped on the ground wasn't terrifying enough, the danger is also coming from above. The sky is just a constant swarm of enemy bombers, turning that beach into a hellscape of smoke, fire, and explosions.
Just try to put yourself there for a second. The sea behind you, the enemy in front of you, and bombs raining down. You have to ask, was escape truly impossible? It sure looked that way.
And then, right when it seemed like all hope was lost, the story takes this amazing turn. Across that little strip of water, back in Britain, a call went out, and the response was something that nobody, and I mean nobody, could have ever predicted.
So, who were these saviors? Was it some secret army, a massive fleet of battleships? No, not even close. They were fishermen in their trawlers, fathers taking out the family yacht, shopkeepers with their little pleasure boats. They were just ordinary civilians, an entire armada of regular people.
The contrast here is just staggering, isn't it? On one side, you have the full, terrifying power of a modern war machine. And on the other, a quiet boat owner, someone with no weapons, no military training, nothing to protect them at all.
So what did they have? What was their weapon against one of the most powerful armies on the planet? It was nothing more and nothing less than pure, simple courage. That's it.
And this is what that courage looked like. Can you imagine making that choice to sail your small boat directly into that chaos, weaving through explosions, finding your way to the beaches, pulling desperate soldiers from the water, and then turning right around to do it all over again and again?
So with all these small boats, all these individual acts of bravery adding up, what kind of a dent could they really make? How many people could actually be saved from this total catastrophe?
338,000. Just let that number sink in. This was way more than just saving lives. This was about saving the entire war. This was the core of Britain's professional army. If they had been lost on that beach, the war against Nazi Germany would have likely been lost too. And that is why history calls it the Miracle of Dunkirk. Not because some general had a stroke of genius, but because of how it happened. The miracle wasn't some top-down strategy. It was the sum of countless acts of courage bubbling up from the bottom.
And that's really the heart of the whole thing, because while this was a pivotal moment in World War II, the story of Dunkirk is, at its core, a human one. It's about what happens when ordinary people simply refuse to stand by and do nothing.
History has these moments, these turning points, where everything hangs in the balance. And in those moments, it's so often not the powerful or the famous who make the real difference. It's the everyday people who step up when that call comes.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought. The story of Dunkirk shows that heroism isn't about some special training or fancy equipment. It's about a choice. The choice to act, to help, to face something impossible with nothing but courage. So the question isn't just about them back in 1940. It's about all of us. What really makes an ordinary hero?